Yep.
We're having an earthquake.
7.6 earthquake has struck along the coast of the Mexican state of Michoacan.
A strong earthquake rocks western Mexico early Thursday at 6.8, 3 days after a 7.6 magnitude quake struck western and central Mexico.
As panic and confusion spread on the streets, an hour earlier, alarms had rung out that this was the real deal.
The nation's residents had paused to remember the victims of two deadly tremors when hours later, another one struck.
The 7.6 magnitude quake centred on the Pacific coast. Lunchtime in Mexico and the earth is jolted. High above the ground, they had nowhere to go.
Oh my God, look at the other buildings. They're all swaying.
Seismologists have been warning us about this. It could happen tomorrow.
Roll. Moment in Santa Rosa last night at 6:39 p.m. as a 4.4 earthquake hit, followed 1 minute later by a 3.9 aftershock.
But of course, when things start moving, knowing it could happen is never the same.
Severe aftershocks continue to rock Taiwan in the wake of the 6.9 magnitude earthquake that struck southern regions of the island.
Social media lit up with signs shaking at the airport, equipment in the offices moving, and people hugging, waiting for it to stop.
A powerful earthquake that strikes southeast Taiwan causes bridges and buildings to fall or sustain significant damage.
More than 350 people died. The devastation was widespread.
Conflict, climate change, and the pandemic have combined to create a potential catastrophe.
It's estimated that more than 3 million livestock have died over the past 2 years.
This is going to be very challenging.
Famine is stalking the sun-blasted plains of Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Giraffe dying by the dozen. And in 2020 and 2021, what little grazing there was, devoured by swarms of locusts.
Here in the United States, about 13 million children presently are experiencing hunger.
Warehouse explosion took out most of the country's huge grain silo.
Potential global food crisis might be on the horizon on a scale not seen since World War II. The blockade of the country's port has also halted the shipment of existing grains. As a result, Ukrainian grain exports in March were 4 times less compared to the levels in February.
The 2022 planting season will not yield the size harvest that the world is anticipating.
The dire emergency in East Africa, the drought there exacerbating the hunger crisis. As many as 20 million people could be starving by the middle of this year, half of them children.
We read about Joseph in Scripture. He endured one of the greatest famines in history, and the Lord gave him strategies and insight on how to navigate that famine.
COVID-19, the disease that defined our lives in 2020.
There is growing concern at this hour over a possible outbreak of a mystery virus.
In Los Angeles, they're erecting tents in hospital parking lots to treat coronavirus patients.
Across the country, COVID-19 has taken a disproportionate toll on already vulnerable communities. The virus tightened its grip across the nation with a third wave hitting every U.S. state.
Hospitalizations doubling every 4 days now. 2020 is now the deadliest year in U.S. history.
Breaking news, stay at home. That is the order tonight from 4 state governors.
People can go to the store, get out for some solitary exercise, but stop socializing.
As the coronavirus pandemic spreads, New York, California, Illinois, and Connecticut all ordering non-essential employees to stay home.
This woman apparently being taken against her will by China's newly deployed quarantine squads. A man also pulled from the apartment, forcibly taken down the stairs.
Head to toe in protective suits, in an eastern district of the city, officers were forcing people out of their rented apartments so they could turn them into temporary quarantine facilities, all in the name of a war against a resurgent COVID.
This woman's door was kicked in by police when she refused to go to quarantine.
CDC issuing a new warning now about monkeypox. All Americans, of course, can get the virus, but they're saying right now that the LGBTQ+ community should be especially cautious at the moment.
Tonight, children with RSV overwhelming hospitals nationwide, pushing emergency centers to the brink, from Rhode Island to New York.
Our emergency department numbers are up about 20 to 25%.
RSV cases are filling up the emergency room at Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth, Texas.
COVID and flu are not the only viruses to look out for in your children. Hospitals across the country are seeing a spike in patients with RSV.
Flu cases are really high right now. As COVID restrictions ease, flu cases are on the rise. One city in Alabama reporting more than 250 students recently out sick.